things I'm planning.
Now, what if you talk things here instead of canary?
Sure, we can talk whatever you want to talk about, but don't talk to me about it.
Baby, I'm hot, like the prodigal son.
Ready to rumble? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling News Pro podcast, a podcast for WWE fans. Here are your hosts, Michael Huff and Annie Savine. Leave it British. Dive over. Ready to rumble!
Brought to you by Wrestle News Pro. As always, I'm Dan Siegel alongside Anthony Servino. As you remember last week, we are now a three-man group. Unfortunately, we're back to the original two. Mike is not with us tonight, but he'll be back next week for our WrestleMania preview show. So let's dive into it. WWE TV this week. Not a whole... 2 weeks out from WrestleMania, you thought we would get like a bigger push of these storylines, and we really didn't. I mean, we got the expected announcement of the Daniel Bryan match. Nothing new on Strowman. Nothing new on Cena. I don't know. I was a little disappointed. You'd think 2 weeks away they'd be pushing this a little more, and they're still just kind of letting us just stroll along.
No, I felt like they held back a little bit less WrestleMania 2, where it all came together in the last week, and it seems like they're doing that with John Cena. I mean, for sure. They're doing that with a lot of these matches.
And the funny thing is that Vince purposely let the Daniel Bryan news out last week. They knew about the Daniel Bryan thing beforehand. I speculated about that last week. They've known about Daniel Bryan being cleared for weeks. This isn't new. So Vince let that go out last week purposely because WrestleMania is not sold out. So he's trying to get those tickets sold. He let the Daniel Bryan news go, but yet he's still stringing along this Undertaker thing. And I don't get it. If anything, you would think the Undertaker Cena storyline would need to get created more than the Daniel Bryan one.
Yeah. I guess they're banking on the fact that it's Cena Undertaker. I mean, it's got to be it. They're trying to draw on the big name value.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, just listening to the feedback from other wrestling fans, you would assume that The Undertaker still has name value. And I think that the losses... maybe not the Brock loss, but especially last year, the Roman loss and everything that maybe came afterwards. People are tired, I guess, of Undertaker. Like, there is a large portion of people who do not want to see this match.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people that does want to see it, but, you bring up a good point. And I think we were talking earlier in the Wrestling News Pro chat when Mike was around, and I said about, Hulk Hogan, even though that rumor has been shot down, apparently, coming to WrestleMania. Does anybody care about Hulk Hogan? Does anybody care about The Undertaker? Because let's face it, we're a dying breed, the old school wrestling fan. And all these new fans, do they care about The Undertaker from 25 years ago? Do they care about all that? Do they go back in the NFL, in the WWE network and watch how this all came about? I doubt it. So it's like, yeah, okay, they're worrying about the draw from The Undertaker, but I just don't know if it's going to be there with this new audience.
And Hogan is a little different, too, because while there's the faction of people that is like, well, Hogan's old, like, what's the point? And, there's also the portion that can't get over what Hogan said. There is the group that always will accept Hogan because they feel that wrestling wouldn't be what it is today without him.
Is it, you can say that, but don't you want to attribute it to what Vince McMahon did with the territories more than Hogan?
No, I
Or-
think people will always, Vince is the brainchild, but Vince needed the star, and the
Right,
star
but
was Hogan.
Could it have been anybody but Hogan, do you think? Or do you think Hogan was it?
At the time, I think Hogan was the guy. I don't think there was another choice.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at Raw as a whole this past week. They didn't do much with Braun. We're still waiting on who the partner is going to be. That apparently is not even going to get revealed until at WrestleMania. We're not going to find that out.
That's what I figured too. I think I said that a few weeks ago when this Braun thing first came about, that it wouldn't surprise me if they just left it until Mania.
Yeah,
or
so
if
we're
he
not
didn't
gonna
have a partner at all, or if he just didn't have a partner.
Well, I've got a rumor on who that partner is going to be. We'll get to that in a little bit. But so we're not going to find that out until Mania. I don't think they've built up Nia well at all. They've basically got her running around like a teenage girl who got dumped. That thing's going nowhere. Again, we get a Sasha Bailey situation that's leading to nothing. Raw as a whole was bad. Even at the end, we get a Cena Kane match in which I assume is just going to be the match, and I don't have to hear Cena go on his usual bashing of the Undertaker, and I still got that.
It was very underwhelming, but it was also I don't know. I get it. He's doing the Undertaker's signature, and he's taunting. I get it, but the Undertaker I know would have been there at that last pay-per-view, like I said, or like we both said. That's when you do this. Undertaker isn't going to wait and get taunted for 3 weeks. Not the Undertaker we want and we know. That Undertaker would have been out chokeslamming John Cena at Backlash or whatever that last pay-per-view was. What was it?
Elimination Chamber.
Yes. That's when you do it. You do it at the next night. You don't let this drag on and let the Undertaker get stomped on by John Cena. You just don't. Because, like I said, the old Undertaker that we want and that we love wouldn't let it happen.
And we talked about this last week. I'm still trying to wrap my head around why there is this conversation or this group of people that really want to see not just Taker come back, but they want the American Badass version of Undertaker. Like, what is the what? I don't care.
No, American Badass version. Why?
I know Kid Rock's getting inducted. I don't care. Like, it was a gimmick for the time, and it worked. But that's not. No, that's not how this works.
I do not want one of the last matches I see the Dead Man in, unless he's the Dead Man. Hell, I want Brother Love to come out. I want something.
I would say you want a whole big thing that's not going to happen. So
bring the whole band. But seriously, that's what I want. I don't want to see an American Badass. I don't care about Kid Rock.
So, the Braun, before we move on to SmackDown, the Braun thing. It came out last week, I think it was, that Rey Mysterio is now part of this. He's like part owner of this like lucha organization thing. And that kind of shot down everybody's thing about a WWE return. Plus he's recovering from the torn bicep. If you watched in New Japan this past week, Strong Style, Mysterio was there. He actually got in a mini altercation after a match. Got his mask ripped off, that whole thing. But, however, there is a rumor going around that will be at WrestleMania, and he will be Braun Strowman's partner. Here's my problem with this.
Wait, and you're saying, wait. Because you're saying it's Rey Mysterio?
That's the rumor.
I wanted to connect the dots there, but it makes no goddamn sense.
They want to go with a big man and little man combination. They kind of want to play off what they did in the Mixed Match Challenge.
This reminds me of the whole Daniel Bryan and Kane fiasco.
Well, I'm glad that reminds you because we're going to talk about that later too. But that's the rumor at this juncture. But here's my problem with that. Besides all the obvious things, like you said, it doesn't make any sense. Mysterio is not coming for the long haul. This is a one-off. So you automatically know if that is the case, if it is Mysterio, Braun's got no chance of winning the titles.
Yeah, I'm trying. Unless they just play off this one-man crew and he bounces Mysterio.
No,
or can't. Go on.
Mysterio. This would be a one-time thing for Mysterio.
Unless Braun bounces him after the match. And just goes on a rampage.
No.
Or can't they just... Did they ever do this before where they just filled in with new tag team partners while somebody held both championships? Has that ever been done?
I'm sure probably it has at some point. I mean, we have tag teams that are 3 people and we rotate. So, but yeah, Mysterio, not good. All right. So then we move to SmackDown. And we get hit an hour before SmackDown even starts with Charlotte Flair being injured. We go to find out later it's a complication from a dental surgery and she'll be fine. But that I think, caught everybody out because we're already going through injuries galore. You know, AJ Styles has been banged up. Shane, won't he? We're still trying to figure that out. And then we have the Charlotte Flair situation. So that kind of threw. But again, SmackDown as a whole wasn't a whole lot there for me either. I mean, basically, the thing we kind of waited on the whole night was Daniel Bryan, which we got at the end. And there was no Owens or Zayn, so they're still playing off the fired thing. And he makes the announcement, that Shane is legitimately hurt, which he is. He's in a hospital. He needs surgery. He makes the announcement that he expects Shane to be his partner. I'm not buying that. Everything that I've seen says that they're not banking on him being there.
So, is this where you're going to think that will they throw Kane in this spot? Is that where they're coming on?
That's one of the things in motion. If Shane is not there to reunite them,
because I also said this earlier, in the chat that I believe there's going to be a heel turn at Mania. You're big on this heel turn. I think we're going to see one of John Cena, Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, or who was my fourth?
I don't even remember at this point.
We're going to see a heel turn, a big.
Oh, you said Ronda.
Rousey.
Yeah.
Why not?
Ronda's not turning. Ronda's not turning heel in her first match. Daniel Bryan's definitely.
Why not link Ronda Rousey with the Authority?
No
one's expecting it. Nobody.
No.
And then she turns on Kurt Angle, her mentor. Why not?
No.
Because
Daniel Bryan's definitely not turning heel.
Right. That's one thing. That's the long shot.
Cena, I don't know how many weeks I have to tell you Cena's not happening. Like I said, the only one you've got a shot with is Shane. That's the only one you got. And like I said, I'm not sold Shane's going to be there.
Any chance we see Dean Ambrose anywhere? Maybe.
No, he's out.
Yeah, he's rolled out.
Yeah, he's out. He's not coming back in time. Here is the one thing that I'm curious about. Because we had this Ultimate Deletion thing. And now when House shows Bray, apparently they want Bray to change the character completely. They want Bray to go into this reincarnated, whole new thing. And Bray's pushing back because Bray kind of built this character up for years and doesn't want to let go of it necessarily.
But he's not going anywhere with it. And he was terribly.
Well, yeah, I'm not.
So,
but here's my thing. We saw Jeff Hardy there for about 5 seconds at the Ultimate Deletion as Brother Nero. Didn't say much, but nevertheless was there. He's been cleared. Didn't show up at Raw last week, even though he was there. I don't expect him to show up this week. I'm wondering, and remember, we had that whole situation where people tweeted that Brother Nero needed to be at Ultimate Deletion, and Matt Hardy's wife said that they didn't need him. I'm wondering if, see, I don't know if there's going to be a match at Mania. I don't know what Matt is going to be involved in, but I'm wondering if we see Jeff show up and get involved in something that Matt does, because the plan seems to be for Matt to stay on this singles campaign and Jeff also to go on this singles campaign, because they have a plan for Jeff in place. And at this moment, the rumor is that the next Money in the Bank winner is going to be Jeff.
Now, is this going to be Jeff and Matt being their characters, Jeff and Matt, or their characters? You know, are they going to eventually culminate in a Woken showdown, in a Woken and Nero showdown?
That's my other issue. Okay, Matt has been Woken Matt now for months. We haven't seen the Hardy, torn up jeans and 90s get up, since they first showed up, since Jeff went down. Okay, so Matt's been Woken. We saw Jeff as Brother Nero, and then we've got this Saudi Rumble in which they're advertising the Hardy Boys. Make up your mind. Stop going back and forth.
Yeah. I think they should just run with the way that what they're doing right now.
By the way,
the WWE community, the universe, whatever you want to call it, especially somebody like me who's very limited. I don't really watch a lot of other wrestling promotions outside of what you tell me to watch or what's buzzing on WrestleZone, is the fact I want to see this. I wasn't a big fan of the Hardy compound. I like I said, it was just I wasn't a big fan of it.
They didn't do enough. They didn't. For somebody like you who didn't know anything going in, they didn't explain anything. It was just, hey, this is it. This is a lake that reincarnates people. This is a, whatever. Like, you don't know what anything is.
Right. But I think they should continue on with it because it is going to be a big success. And I think it's going to be a success with the younger generation. I think they're going to think it's pretty cool. You got a drone involved. You got all this story. I think especially like kids will love it.
Again, I don't trust WWE Creative to do anything right. They're already botching things. Why are we announcing matches for this Saudi Rumble that clearly have effects from WrestleMania, which hasn't happened yet? First of all, we're spitting out we have a triple threat match at WrestleMania between Miz, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins. We're spitting that same match out at this Saudi Rumble and basically making it a four-way, adding Samoa Joe in and throwing a ladder in there. What the hell is that? So literally 3 weeks after I just saw the triple threat match, now we're going to throw Joe and a ladder in and it's going to make it that much better?
Well, they want to make this a spectacle over in India. They're making that push. They have a lot of money dedicated to expanding their brand over there. You've seen Jinder Mahal carry the championship.
I've got Triple H Cena announced as a match, which, okay, whatever. But Jinder Mahal, who should be the face of anything you're doing out there, isn't announced for anything?
Are we going to see the Iron Sheik? Are we going to see the Great Khali?
No, but you might see the Undertaker.
Yeah. Really?
The rumor has been... Okay, it is a 50-man Royal Rumble.
Jeez.
And the rumor has always been that they want to put as much heavy power, heavy top talent as possible. Which is why I'm surprised Triple H and Cena are doing a match. You would assume they'd be in it if they're not, unless they're going to pull double duty. But yeah, the story has always been that not only is he going to do this match with Cena at WrestleMania, but that they're pushing to have them in this Rumble.
It's going to be a big payday, and I'm sure with enough money involved, they could do the double duty, like you just said. It's going to be a big payday for them. I mean, like I said, all the money going there. It's probably going to be a capacity crowd in whatever venue that's going to be in.
Hey, you brought up Hogan earlier, and I failed to expand on it. But, you know, like you said, Hogan came out and shot down rumors that he could appear at WrestleMania, even though he's going to be at the Hall of Fame. He is inducting Hillbilly Jim, which I'm surprised.
Well, they were close, actually. Their history together. They actually
No. Logically, it made sense. I just was surprised
Uncle
that
Elmer?
WWE.
Is he alive?
What's that?
Is Uncle Elmer even still alive?
Oh, I have no idea. But I was surprised that WWE was willing to give in to Hillbilly's wishes, considering everything surrounding it. So now, despite the fact that he's supposedly not going to be at WrestleMania, you know, the talks are ongoing to bring him back, and the heavy speculation is that, and this makes all the sense in the world of why he wouldn't be at WrestleMania. You know, there's really no way to tie him into coming back to WrestleMania. So following, you know, you've got to assume that whatever happens in this Daniel Bryan match will lead him to officially letting go of the GM role that SmackDown following WrestleMania. That would be my assumption.
And
in comes what the speculation is. In comes Hulk Hogan.
What makes you think this isn't a work by Hulk Hogan saying I'm not going to appear on WrestleMania? Because I didn't know he was going to be at the Hall of Fame ceremony. I didn't know he was going to be there.
Well, that got you just missed that.
Yeah, I missed that one, but again, it makes more sense. It could be a work. It could be a smokescreen.
It could be, but I don't know where you're bringing him in.
Again, this all ties into my outlandish theory about Shane turning heel, where you know Hogan's going to feud with the young McMahon, and
I don't know. See, but now you're thinking that Hogan's coming back and competing. I don't know if we're getting that far. I don't know if we're going to see Hogan, especially Hogan.
One more match. I think that would be a
WrestleMania match. We're not getting a feud right at the start here.
SummerSlam.
No,
something that could build up for.
They're not going to waste that at SummerSlam. But here you go. Speaking of big names at WrestleMania, right? You're talking about Hogan being there, despite it. If we listen to the odds makers,
are you going where I think you're going? Because
The Rock will be there.
No, total different direction. But okay, you go on first.
The odds greatly shifted in the past couple of days, in which, and you know, when it comes to wrestling and odds, you pretty much go with it because they know what's going on. And the odds are certainly making it seem like it is a guarantee The Rock will be at WrestleMania. Now, the thing is that he's obviously not involved in the storyline that he was involved in. He's not going to be with Ronda. So are we going to get something similar to the last time? Like, is he going to come out with a big flamethrower again? Or are we going to see Rock do a impromptu match like a few years ago when he did with Rowan? Because here's the thing. Again, listening to the feedback that I get when I pose these things on the Wrestling Elite page on Facebook, people don't want to see The Rock. Okay? The Rock is all over the place. They don't want to see him just be there.
Right. They want more. They want
like, if The Rock's going to come, let him be The Rock. I want to see.
Here's a curveball.
Here we go. Anthony's conspiracy theory, part 75.
Here's a curveball. Why not? Because you've tried over and over and over to get Roman Reigns over. Why not use The Rock in the Roman match, use The Rock to get Roman over?
How?
Is there any past between Lesnar and The Rock? Maybe from their
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Whoa. I got something. If you're gonna go that route, I've got something. And it can be done because they've done it before. Especially considering Rock's not gonna be on TV all the time. Roman beats Lesnar. Okay, that's the expected outcome here. Okay, I don't think I'm spoiling anything for anybody. Reigns beats Lesnar. As Reigns is, celebrating and yada, 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 here comes The Rock. And, Roman and Rock are family, they're blood, they're tight, etc. And as Roman thinks Rock is going to embrace him, Rock hits him with a rock bottom and says, I want you next year, WrestleMania, New York.
The Samoan screw job.
Because here's the thing. You're right. They can't get Roman over, and there's nothing to get Roman over. But Roman Rock is something that's been talked about. And if Rock's going to be there, you've got a year to build it up. Rock doesn't have to be there all the time. It would be like Rock Cena before. Same idea.
Listen, we can go all... Is there any way, because when you said odds makers, I'm looking at a report right now about Conor McGregor has a 7-4 chance. Is there any culmination between a possible Rock versus Conor McGregor next year?
No. Where does that come from, Rock and Conor?
Why not? Why not?
If Conor was going to be there.
Where does anything come from? Where did Rock Cena come from years ago? You know what I mean?
Whoa, no, that made sense.
Yeah, but...
Stop. If Conor was going to show up, which possible, I guess. I mean, I would say there has been talks that Conor has talked to WWE. So, I mean, I'm not calling it crazy, but if Conor was there, I'd find it a lot more likely that Conor get involved in the Ronda match because Conor and Ronda have the connection.
Yeah, I just... Why not at this point sign a deal with the UFC? Just sign some kind of a deal and have the UFC invade the WWE in a year.
Because you can't. That's the whole reason why Brock is leaving. Remember the one-off that Brock did. What was it, 2 years ago, where he went and did his UFC fight? And then afterwards got popped for failing the drug test. That soured Vince on letting him do that because that's bad publicity. Like, he got popped for the drug test in UFC, but he's not getting popped anywhere in WWE. So he doesn't want to deal with that. Brock wanted that same thing in the new deal. Like, he wanted to be able to go to UFC and fight because that's his plan. He's going back. Vince would not allow it. He's not going to sign off on it, which is why Brock's just going to flat out leave. So, no, I don't think you're going to get some kind of weird...
But you get what I'm saying. Like, they bring 5 or 6 UFC, Ronda and Conor McGregor, and they all invade the roster, like Nexus, only UFC defects, led by Paul Heyman.
Here's something I think Vince, and I don't know if Vince has ever thought about this, but here's something he should do, and it would make him money, and there wouldn't have to be a whole lot of work put into this. Okay? This is a Twitter thing that already has already made itself. And Vince would only have to put the pieces together. Former UFC, now Bellator fighter, Chael Sonnen, who is probably the best trash talker in sports today. He was Conor McGregor before Conor McGregor. He made fights purely off of his mouth. Chael Sonnen apparently spoke about Goldberg recently.
Right.
And somebody tweeted at Goldberg asking how Goldberg felt about Chael Sonnen talking about him. Chael actually responded to the tweet first and said, if I wanted Goldberg's opinion, I would ask him, you know, or I would have like beaten it out of him or something like that. Goldberg responded to Chael, I'd like to see you try it. Goldberg's going into the Hall of Fame. Goldberg has not closed the door on another run. And we always see the headliner of Hall of Fames, which Goldberg is in this class, have that run. Obviously, Goldberg had the run before he went into the Hall of Fame. But like I said, there's another run there. Chael Sonnen is a ready-made piece. He can, unlike Ronda, who needs the mic work, Chael doesn't need mic work. This match would sell itself. Make it happen, Vince. Yeah. I'll buy in. I'm buying in at the thought of it.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Speaking of people talking about people, Edge recently spoke about Daniel Bryan because people who don't really think these things through, once Daniel Bryan was cleared, immediately went to Edge and asked Edge if he thought he would be cleared again for another match. People fail to realize that Daniel Bryan was a head thing, brain situation, whereas Edge is a neck spinal situation, like a lot more severe, a lot more, just like no chance of ever being cleared, which is what Edge basically said. And then Edge went on to speak about Daniel Bryan, basically saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, while he's happy for Daniel Bryan, he's extremely concerned for Daniel Bryan. And I'm curious, I don't know, how do you take that? Because I'm a little surprised that Edge would come out and be so vocal, the opposite way.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher, and you're saying he's going the opposite way in the fact that he doesn't think Bryan should compete?
Yeah, he's very concerned. He's like, guys who have injuries, don't necessarily think with the best, with safety first in mind. If Bryan were to start feeling something, would he tell them for fear that he could get shut down again? Things like that.
Yeah, maybe this is just Edge being a little bit older and wiser and realizing that, it sucks that he's out, but he's probably out with the least bit of, injuries compared to him wrestling another 10, 15 years. Life after wrestling, Edge is an actor. Edge has moved on. Yeah.
And here's the thing, you talk about, people, younger people who watch wrestling now and like they don't realize, what the Undertaker is or who he was. Do younger people know how good Edge was? I mean, they know Edge and Kristen from on the network and when they popped up, but I don't think people realize how good Edge was and how good his title run was. Like, I think Edge is underrated when you talk about top-tier WWE guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Edge fan. I love what he did as a rated R superstar. He had a hell of a career. I'm just not sure where I can place him. Where do you place him? What tier? Because, the tier 1 guys, Taker, Triple H,
well, your tiers and my tiers are different, so let's stop there.
I'm talking about in his era. I'm not going all time. So are you saying Edge is underrated all time, or are we talking about era?
All time. And even in his era,
stop.
Even in his era, I don't,
I can't even put Edge in a conversation of all time.
Well, no, I'm not saying he's a top 10 guy, but I guarantee you people would bring up other guys that I wouldn't put ahead of Edge.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I fall into that crowd where I don't see him as an elite, as one of the elites.
I just don't think younger people even know what he did. I don't think they know anything. I think if you said rated R superstar, I don't think they'd have a damn idea what you're talking about.
All right, so did you see this, speaking of The Rock, about this segment that's reportedly canceled that was supposed to be involving him and Elias and all that?
I don't know about a segment. I know people have speculated, if he's going to be at WrestleMania, that would be the spot where him and Elias would do a thing.
Yeah, according to WWFoldschool.com, it says that because Vince cannot 100% lock down The Rock, they're going to nix this segment involving Elias, and he was going to be interrupted by Michael P.S. Hayes, Jeff Jarrett, Jillian Hall, Honky Tonk Man. And then The Rock was going to be the fifth. But Vince's, I guess this is the report saying, since Vince can't 100% lock down The Rock, they're going to nix this segment because without The Rock, this segment is a waste of 20 minutes. Basically.
By the way, are you looking forward to Road Dogg singing at Jeff Jarrett's Hall of Fame induction?
Oh, so they're playing off the old angle from like 1992 or 3 when
he's bringing the song back.
Yeah. With My Baby Tonight.
That's right.
Why not? It's going right up my alley, even though I hated. When I say Jeff Jarrett is one wrestler I never liked. I couldn't stand him, and I can't stand him today. He did his job. He did his job.
I'll tell you
Jeff
what.
Jarrett did his job.
I'll tell you what. That thing's going to get downloaded 1,000,000 times after that Hall of Fame induction. Because you hear it, and it just gets stuck in your head.
Was that another Jim Johnson special? Probably. Jim Johnson, Jimmy Hart probably had their hands on that.
No, that was all Road Dogg.
Really?
Road Dogg wrote and like when the music video where you see Jeff Jarrett singing it, that was Road Dogg. That's Road Dogg's voice.
Oh, I remember that, but I'm saying
that's always been all Road Dogg. Yeah, that's always been all Road Dogg.
Interesting.
Yep. I'm gonna say nothing there. Okay, so let me talk about a couple of titles here that are apparently coming. Neither of which I don't know that I'm really thrilled about. First, we have the talk of a women's tag title coming at SummerSlam. I guess this is to be expected. We've seen basically women take every step that there is now, ladder match, Iron Man match, Rumble, Elimination Chamber, yada, 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 yada. So now, obviously, we have to give them more titles. Do we, I'm not sure. I think the wrestling fan, mass is split on how they view female wrestling. So, do we really need a tag title?
Yeah, I guess it's worth a shot. For what they're trying to do, it's worth a shot, but I'm not sure if it'll take off because, I've said this a few times before. It seems like after this women's revolution, it seems like they reverted. They're back to these, these short matches, and I feel like the women's revolution has lost its luster a little bit.
Not to mention, if we're going to go tag titles, give me a tag team that you think of and you're like, you know what? What?
That makes sense?
Yeah, that you think of and you're like, yeah, that works.
No, if Bliss drops the title, you can pair her up with Mickey right away. Unless they're going to make them go back at it. But, Nia Jax and her sister. I'm just trying to look any link I can get.
So Bliss is going to go from having the women's title for, a year to being a tag title?
Yeah. And see, you look what they do with women champions. They kind of fall off the face of the earth. They've all had it. It seems like everybody's had it for a minute.
Does Becky have to find a tag partner so they finally give her a belt?
But who? Is there anybody from
They
NXT?
could put her with what's her face, Naomi, Miss Lightbright.
But what's the sense?
Well, there is none, but they've had those two teams for the last 2 months.
Like we talked about last week with Mike, I'd rather see mixed tag over a women's tag champion. I'd rather see them go full steam ahead with mixed tag. That has more attractability than women's.
Well, guess what? If you're
not going to get it,
if you're on the fence about women's tag titles, I've got a title that they're going to come up with that you're not only not going to be on the fence about, you're just going to ask, why are we doing this in the first place? Because you and I have had the conversation, and we may have even done so on air, about why are we continually doing the cruiserweights? Why is 205 still going? Like, we had a cruiserweight match on Monday. There's nothing. I don't care. Like, whatever. So now we have a thing that isn't getting watched, and I don't think a majority of people even care about. So what is your idea to bring that life? You're going to give them tag titles? I don't care. I don't even care who is the cruiserweight. I don't even know who has the cruiserweight title now, let alone do I care.
This is my problem with the split. This is my problem with everything. It becomes too many titles, and we've seen that years ago. There was hardcore championships and TV titles. There were 900 championships. It makes the championship less prestigious. All you really need is what? You need a few. You need the world title, you need the Intercontinental title, you need tag titles, and you need the United States Championship. That's it. You don't need any more.
By the way, speaking of titles, we talked about bringing the hardcore title back, which I would love, but it won't happen because we live in a PG era.
What time am I picking her up?
But because we live in a PG era, I have this problem. Look at the Cena-Kane match. Okay? Completely, no rules, do what you want. Can I get something other than a table? Ever? Ever?
Can you get who? You say Cena?
No. Can I get something other than a table? It's like that's all we ever use anymore. Like it's like a chair and a table, or look, I have a ladder. Like there are other things.
They go from one extreme. They go from a chair to throwing somebody off the pit. What is it by in the back of the announcer set? There's one extreme. There's a low chair, and we're gonna throw somebody off that, and
like seriously, like take out some trash cans, take out some kendo. Like those things are allowed. Like we're not pushing we're not pushing the rating by doing that. Goodness gracious, it's so repetitive. It's like, hey, look, I'm gonna put this guy through a table, or look, I've got a chair. By the way, speaking of chairs, when we were talking about Raw this past Monday, we didn't talk about this. If they've done anything right so far, they've done Brock and Roman right the last 2 weeks.
They did Brock and
Roman. Because if you want to build Brock up, which is what they're doing, they want to build him up for the fall, you have to let him be at the closest to his purest, which is just pure carnage. Let him go out and just rip somebody apart. And that's basically what they've let him do for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but don't they seem to do this every year. In one of these matches, wasn't Roman Reigns? He was letting it was Triple H a few years ago when it was him. They always seem to go in the same direction.
I mean, it's not a new thing, but nevertheless, I mean, with Brock, you can't have Brock doing, where Heyman talks and then like this back. That doesn't work. You need to see Brock being the beast. That's the only way it works. What? So we assume Undertaker will show up Monday.
Yeah, hope.
Have to. You know, I assume he will be there and we will not get this, you know, recorded response or, you know, just something.
How disappointing would that be?
Where like the lights go out and says accepted or something stupid like that. You know, so we assume he's there. What can they do? Remember, this is a one and done. It'll basically be that segment and then the match on Sunday. What can they do to, and I'm not talking about you because you're already buying into the match. They don't have to sell you. But for somebody who, I mean, I guess if you don't want to see Taker, there's nothing they can do to sell you. But if you're on the fence about this, like if you needed the build-up for this match to get you to buy in, what can they do in one segment to get you to buy in?
Do they care? I mean, really?
Obviously
listen,
not.
People are watching WrestleMania. It's not sold out, but I guarantee you those.
I'm not watching all 8 hours of it, I can tell you that much.
8 hours. Imagine. WrestleMania, I'm telling you, is going to be a week-long experience. They're going to have matches, and it's all going to culminate on a Sunday night. But mark my word, in like 10 years, the WWE experience, it's just going to be a week-long marathon, almost like Super Bowl week on the NFL Network. That's what WrestleMania is going to turn into.
WrestleMania, much like Royal Rumble was here in Philly a couple of months ago, the major ones were Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, and I guess they're going to do this with Money in the Bank too. We'll wait and see. But the four major ones, as they are almost week-long experience as they are. Okay, they're 4-day ordeals. NXT on Saturday, pay-per-view Sunday, Raw on Monday, SmackDown Tuesday, all in the spot.
Right.
Okay, and then you got to remember, with WrestleMania, you have the access that's there starting on Friday, I think, or maybe Thursday.
Have you ever done the access?
I did. It wasn't like it is now because it's really full-blown, but I don't remember
wanted to do it when I was a kid, man. I always wanted to go. It was so cool.
Well, you can do it next year.
Yeah.
Say, it'll be in your neck of the woods.
We'll be doing this show from the parking lot.
Screw that. I want to do the show from my seat.
I was just going to make up a Sports Talk Live at 5 reference. That never happened.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. What was I going to say? I don't remember what number it is. It's the teens. I can tell you that much. But they did a WrestleMania in Philly at the, this is after the Spectrum. So I guess it was, I think it was like the Wells Fargo Center back then or whatever it was called. It's the early teens WrestleManias, I guess it is. And like I said, it wasn't access like it is today, but they did have something kind of like that back that when I was younger. But no, I've never done access like it is today, where it's all blown up and you can do all kinds of things. And like they've got like the chamber built and all that. I haven't done that. Although, trust me, I already have the plans to be involved in that next year. I am all in on everything that involves WrestleMania next year because it's right in our neck of the woods.
I missed it a couple of years ago, and I don't want to miss it again.
Yeah, I also did not go to that one. Well, here's what we need to do, okay? And I was going to hold off on this because I wanted to make this grand announcement, but Mike's not on this show today, and Mike will not be involved in this as well. So I feel like we can discuss this and not be leaving Mike out. You and I, in about a month's time, will be at Backlash. We will be at the pay-per-view.
Right. Oh, are you anticipating
some type of
an announcement?
The show involved. Like I want interaction between the WWE universe that will be at Backlash and heel turn radio.
Yeah.
I want to make that happen.
And how do we do that?
Here is what I propose, because there's something else that I'm going to hold off on announcing, which I think will aid in this plan of the WWE Universe and Heel Turn Radio connecting and becoming one. But here's what we can do in the meantime. Social media is one we can do. See who plans on going to Backlash.
Right.
And working something out. We could get Heel Turn Radio signs at Backlash. Anything. I want us to be known. I want it known that we are in the building and that the following is there.
Well,
I want to be a force inside the building.
we should maybe we should show up in costume.
All right, then we just blend in with everybody else. That's not good.
No, but like Demolition or something.
That's. I think we might get mistaken for something else if we show up as Demolition.
No, but I don't know. I feel like that would be fun because they always seem to get on TV.
They do, but we're also not. Well, at least we don't plan on sitting anywhere near the cameras. All right. So last thing for Heel Turn Radio this week, Anthony. I don't know if you ever got to it. I did tell you to watch this. Did you get to watch New Japan yet?
No, not at least not the one you told me. I've seen like some of them, older matches. I think the last one I saw was the Jericho. But I've seen it. I just didn't watch it the other night.
By the way, all right, there have been several situations, okay, whether it be the Daniel, first when we thought Daniel Bryan wasn't going to be involved, now when we think Shane's not being involved. I keep going out to the WWE universe and asking, who do you want to see be the replacement? Like here's who, like right now, okay, the situation is we don't think Shane's going to be there. Okay, so, and as we spoke about, the idea is that they're going to reunite Team Hell No, and Kane will be Daniel Bryan's partner. But I'm saying WWE Universe, if you could do it, are you good with Kane or do you want somebody else? Okay, so first off, we always get the people that come up with CM Punk. Stop. Okay, CM Punk's not happening. Let it go. But I'm really surprised at the people at the names that people throw out here.
Okay.
Here, I'm going to tell you. We're going to go through this. Okay? Here are the different names that I got. One of which is Jericho. Okay? But I can say with 99.9% certainty Jericho will not be at WrestleMania. So, let's take that out. I've had a few people say Johnny Morrison.
Oh.
Like, is there suddenly a Johnny Morrison following that I missed?
Apparently, I've heard that he's actually a pretty big hit now.
Well, no, I know that he's a lot bigger now than he was back in his WWE days, but still, I didn't think that we had gotten to the level of, hey, I'd really like to see him with Daniel Bryan. I had somebody say Bobby Lashley. Apparently, they missed the boat. Bobby Lashley's coming after WrestleMania, so that's not. I had a Johnny Gargano one, which makes sense. They're both real technical wrestlers and things like that. But I think, especially we talked about last week, we've talked about a potential Daniel Bryan and Gargano match. So I don't know if them necessarily teaming up would work. Somebody also said Aleister Black, also from NXT. That really doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you're You know, that's like the second coming of Team Hell No. Aleister Black's a little different than Kane, but. And then, let's see. Somebody said Hogan.
Wow.
But again,
Hogan.
But again, you know, Hogan not wrestling. Somebody, and then the last one I got here is they should scrap the Cena Taker match and let Cena be his partner.
I don't like any of it.
As far as I'm concerned, if you're not gonna if you weren't gonna do Kane, because you can do Kane and it makes sense and it works. Okay, so I really don't have a problem if they do Kane. But if you're not gonna do Kane, if you're gonna go with somebody else, as far as I'm concerned, I have the best suggestion.
Oh. Who's your suggestion?
If it can't be Shane, then let it be Daddy.
Okay. Can he do it, though, at his age at this point? Can he take a bump?
They discussed it at one point. We talked about it last week. It's not like it hasn't been put on the table.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not into it. Why? What about The Rock?
Hey,
Could The Rock be involved in this?
No, he can't do a match. He can't do a real match. Hollywood won't let him do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Besides, all the weird conspiracy theories and things that you want, and Vince McMahon is too much for you.
Yeah, because he's 70-something years old. He doesn't look good. You know, he doesn't look like the same old Vince. He looks very, you know, he's aging. What you expect from a 70-something-year-old man. But it's just I don't know how much we're gonna get out of it. How much are we gonna get out of Vince? Is he gonna hug the corner? At least you know Shane's gonna do something fun.
I think Vince could do something. Yeah, Vince works out. Let's see. Is there anything else that I forgot to hit on? Oh, were you surprised they had Ronda do anything in the ring on Monday? That caught me a little off guard. I didn't think they would show anything yet.
Yeah, because she's not ready. I still don't think she's ready. I'm still not impressed.
I'll put it this way. The training videos they've put out have made her look a lot better than she's looked in the actual Raw ring.
Yeah, once she shakes the nerves, I think she'll be all right.
She's got to stop smiling when she comes down the ramp.
Right?
God, it irks me so bad.
That's why I'm saying heel turn. Maybe she can't
be a heel if she smiles all the damn time.
You know, if let's say if you said Lesnar, he's all but gone, you think, and this works with my Ronda Rousey heel turn, why not just throw her right in with Paul Heyman?
Well, I'm waiting for that. She needs to go with Heyman. It makes all the sense in the world. She doesn't have to be a heel to be with Heyman.
Why not?
I mean, she can be, but she doesn't have to be. But, so I completely didn't follow up on that New Japan thing. So you didn't watch it. I went off on the Jericho thing. The Young Bucks and Golden Lovers tag match, which you failed to watch yet. Okay. That's why that match right there is why WWE has tried to get Kenny Omega for a while, and Omega refuses to go. And on the other hand, it's also why I think people hate tag matches so much anymore. Although that's the best tag match I've seen in a very long time. But here's why I say both. Something that WWE fails to do a lot anymore is build up any sort of storyline to create these matches. Even look at the SmackDown tag titles with the Bludgeon Brothers and the Usos and the New Day. I mean, what's that storyline? The Bludgeon Brothers attack them at Elimination Chamber. That's the storyline.
Wow.
There's no real, connection, blood, anything in that other than a beatdown.
Right.
The Golden Lovers were partners in their early days. They after Omega was basically say they're the best tag team. Young Bucks taking side. There's all sorts of things that tie in to this match. But to the same token, again, and this is not only based off me, but Stone Cold has said this, and even people have said this. Spots don't make a match. And Stone Cold said this is the biggest problem with WWE today, and I totally agree. Guys are so concerned on when they grab the mic what they're supposed to say because it's all rehearsed. And when they do a match, remembering all the spots. And you don't get to see the character themselves. There are very few guys that we could say, that's the character. I see them every week.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the problem with Roman. I don't know. I don't know who Roman is. Roman's a robot. Yep. On the mic, he's a robot. In the ring, he's a robot.
Yep.
What is Roman? Roman angry. Grr. That's Roman.
But it's always been like that. Vince has always controlled everything. They've always controlled everything from the gorilla position.
No. Guys used to be able to have some freedom and do what they want. I mean, Jericho still has freedom, which is why Jericho can come back whenever he wants. I was
always under the impression, maybe guys like Jake the Snake Roberts had that free reign back then and through the years.
Well,
I'm not sure not many people actually had that free reign.
During the Attitude Era, everybody had free reign.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Austin had free reign. I mean, Vince would give Austin the ideas, but Austin basically had free, DX basically came up with their stuff, It wasn't, it's certainly not as controlled. I mean, they did not have prompted promo. They didn't have scripted promos back then.
Oh.
By the way, did you see Stone Cold basically calling his win at WrestleMania, whatever that was, 14 or whatever it was, over Shawn Michaels garbage?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that was the one with Tyson involved.
Oh, yeah, I remember it vaguely.
And he basically said that, the match didn't work. Tyson blew the ending because Tyson basically fast counted. He's like Tyson fast counted, and you remember at the time Shawn wasn't good mentally or physically. The back was giving out on him, so you didn't get. I mean, Michaels was, even a bad Michaels WrestleMania performance is good,
right?
Compared to everybody else, but it wasn't a top tier Michaels performance. Austin said it wasn't a top performance for him, and he basically said he went through the curtain, went to McMahon in gorilla position, and said the match sucked. And Vince told him not to worry about it. It would all change the next day, and it did because the next day they started the McMahon-Austin angle.
Right.
So, but yeah, Austin's memory of winning his very first title was that it sucked.
It started everything, though. That was it.
And now they're going to try and do the same with Ronda and stuff.
I hope not, because I don't think it works. I don't think it'll work with them too.
That is the biggest question I think anybody should have. Not so much what happens next Sunday. How does Ronda look in the ring? Because, don't make it where she looks good enough. She won't look terrible and she won't look great. She'll be somewhere in between.
Right. That's why they're surrounding her with so much talent, because they need to ease her in action.
The question is, where do we go from here? What happens that next? The Raw after WrestleMania, the biggest Raw of the year, and probably the biggest WWE show of the year outside of WrestleMania. Some people prefer the Raw after WrestleMania to WrestleMania. That's how big this is.
Right.
Where does Ronda go that night? What is the next step? That is the big thing.
Like I said, the most logical is to turn her.
Well, yeah, you want her turned. I don't think that's happening.
I want everybody turned. I want to see some shakeup. I want to see a shakeup. I need a shakeup.
Like I said, you want WWE 1998.
I want the Bludgeon Brothers on top. I absolutely love the Bludgeon Brothers.
Last thing. Here we go. Last thing. This is the thing that I want to bring up. What do you think about Rusev being added?
I like it. I think Rusev's on a good track. I think he deserves a push.
I don't like it unless he's going to win. You're just throwing him in to appease the fans because everybody wants Rusev and Rusev selling, Rusev Day merch.
I'd like to see Rusev and Samoa Joe once, if they're ever. I know Joe's on Raw, but
here's the thing. I know this has been discussed. I don't know if this is going to happen. But again, because Rusev is taken off with the fans and the Rusev Day thing is really taken off, I know there's been talk of having Rusev win this Saudi Rumble.
Wow.
The question is, what does that get him? Like, if there's been talk about what that guy gets, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. But, I mean, does that put Rusev in a title picture again?
Did the Andre the Giant Battle Royal do anything for anybody? I think it's just going to be another useless Battle Royal, to be honest with you.
Well, this isn't a Battle Royal. This is a Royal Rumble type of thing. I mean, this gets him a title shot as opposed to the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Does it get him a challenge shot?
I'm assuming it does. I don't know. That hasn't been confirmed. Or if it has, I missed it.
I hope it's not going to be a flop like the Andre the Giant thing.
I'm
not a fan of it. I think it's ridiculous.
They've got to tie something to it. It's got to have some meaning. I mean, it's bad enough when you got to sit through not one but two meaningless battle royals this year.
Whatever WrestleMania it was where they had the gimmick battle royal, do one of them. Do a gimmick battle royal.
Here's what I want to see. Well, not necessarily I want to see, but here's something that would be interesting. Bring back oh God, what is his name? I completely blanked all of a sudden. Who was the idiot that was helping Carmella all the time?
Oh, yeah. James, right? Ellsworth. There we go. Ellsworth is on the
indie circuit as this intergender champion.
Oh,
where he basically fights women.
Oh my God.
Have him in the women's battle royal and have him win.
I love it. I love that idea.
Bring his intergender title, have him win, and run with it.
There's been talk of that, right? Didn't we talk about that last week?
I don't know. I just made that connection.
Or I read rumors that the WWE wants to bring in possibly bring in a character. I think even Cena spoke on it, said anything's possible. So you could be onto something there.
There we go. Heard it here first. Ellsworth.
Ronda Rousey always wanted to fight a guy in the octagon, right? Wasn't that always something? I mean, here, Ronda Rousey, James Ellsworth.
No, I can't take that. No, I can't take that seriously.
Hey, why not have Ronda Rousey go against dudes?
Why
instead of a full Nelson challenge like they used to do the Master Lock challenge, do a Ronda Rousey arm lock challenge against men?
Why can't you? And I know we're not allowed to say this name in WWE circles anymore, but I'm going to do it. Why can't you build Ronda up to be the second coming of China?
Does she want to gain that weight?
She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to gain the weight. Okay.
But how can you be a second coming of China? Because China was a ninth wonder of the world. China was a bodybuilder. And I don't know if Ronda could be that presence, right?
Ronda would be basically off of the moniker the baddest woman on the planet.
Right.
Okay. I'm not talking. She's gonna be universal champion. But we can get her involved in other things. For God's sake, why don't they bring the European title back?
Wait, you're breaking up. What was that?
So why don't they bring the European title back?
Why? Why another title? For who?
Why we've got 800 other titles? I still gotta have a UK title that we never see.
Less is more. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Here we go. Perfect point. We were saying about the Saudi Royal Rumble. They had this UK tournament, and I believe it was because they want to they have an established, I don't know if it's like a minor league almost. Is that what I think that's what they're doing over in the UK? And this could just be a big event setting up something in Saudi. Maybe they introduce a Saudi title, maybe or maybe, and they have one of their guys over there win it. Have the Khali win this Rumble and lead this Saudi championship, or Jinder Mahal. That could be what they're doing over there. Setting up their own promotion. Like, it's going to be a promotion full of Saudi and Indian wrestlers. And
I don't see
their
how.
own belt.
I'm not sure how that works. I mean, Jinder.
Because it's not for us. It's not really for us.
It didn't work, though. They had Jinder carry that belt for months, and it wasn't working. They weren't getting the traction.
But this isn't going to where? In India?
Yes.
Then don't they have to maybe they have another Jinder. Maybe they have their own group there, like with the UK title. Maybe this is just a big promotion that it's going to be on the network, but it's not really for us year round. It could just be setting it up over there.
I don't know, but stop announcing matches until after WrestleMania, for the love of God. You're ruining things already.
All I know is I get to see a 50-man battle royal. That means there's going to be a chance for gimmicks, and I'm going to see Triple H and The Undertaker. I'm all in just for that.
All right, you're going to see Triple H. You might see The Undertaker.
I mean, Triple H Cena.
Oh yeah, I feel like I've seen that. It's nothing new,
right? But it's a spectacle. I want to see Triple H's entrance. I want to see Triple H split the water. I want to see Triple H pedigree.
Listen, I can tell my kids, hey, I saw Triple H and Cena in their prime. Now you get to watch them at the old folks' home. Congratulations. Whatever. All right. That's it for this week's Heel Turn Radio.
Next week's the Go Home edition.
Yeah, next week when we go on air, actually, our predictions will already be up on Wrestle News Pro, correct? I have that right?
If we're recording at the end of the week, yes, because
I was saying because the predictions are supposed to go up next Wednesday.
Yes, because I was going to say on Wednesday over at WrestlingNewsPro.com, Dan, myself, Mike, and I believe we have one other person. We're going to be doing our prediction article, and we're all going to be predicting our matches and outlandish finishes, and it's going to be fun.
I was going to say Anthony will lay out all his conspiracy theories for you, where I will give you the actual winners, and it'll go well. But we'll talk; those will be up Wednesday on the site, and we'll talk about those when we do the show. Mike will be back next week, and hopefully, fingers crossed, Monday and Tuesday will really do a lot to set up Sunday.
Give me The Undertaker. Give me Brother Love. Give me a body bag match.
Okay, you're not getting a body bag match, and you're not getting Brother Love.
Here's how The Undertaker responds to Cena. Do a buried alive match because what do they say? Cena buries all the talent.
Well,
that's how The Undertaker responds. I'm going to bury you like you bury young talent. That's why I need to still wrestle, Cena. That's how I'm coming back.
I'm still upset they scrapped the Kane Braun casket match. Yeah. I was all in on that. all in on that, and they scrapped it.
You know, I want to see all gimmicks. I want to see gimmick guys, gimmick matches. That used to be fun. Hardcore matches, Buried Alive, Inferno. Remember the Inferno match?
Those never worked. I never liked those.
Yeah, but it was different. Like, it was still, you know, I Quit match, Iron Man match. How about them?
So, like I said, next week we'll talk about hopefully something that's set up next Sunday. Obviously, we'll talk our predictions, and we'll talk NXT TakeOver, which is Saturday. We'll have to talk is all in on Gargano and Camp fighting. So we'll obviously talk NXT TakeOver, and like I said, hopefully we'll have something to talk about. Hopefully they'll have done something. I keep saying hopefully because I have no faith. But until next week, for Anthony Servino and the aforementioned Mike Hoff, I am Dan Siegel. This has been Heel Turn Radio, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're watching via YouTube, and if you're listening via Blog Talk, follow us. Till next week. See you guys later.